And the recording is live. So feel free to recap about what happened last time.
All right. So last time, while we were discussing on what to do, Dennis suggested, establishing ties with House Nix because they actually reached out to us. So scheduled a meeting at their place. Saw that their city was basically like a kind of like maze fortress. It'd be really difficult to get in if they didn't want you, and it'd be really almost kind of impossible to get out if they didn't want you to. Um, they basically put the equivalent of a noise buzzer in our rooms to psych us out. It worked. After that, talked with them, of which the lady of the house basically stayed quiet, didn't talk at all. Damocles, in fact, did all the speaking and asked us some very pointed questions. Told us, we were being set up to fail, which more or less we already knew. We more or less suspected. It's nice that he told us. After that, House Nix offered an alliance, possibly a marriage, which we informed them that we'd consider it. After that, when we got there, we discussed and we kind of realized that there's a few ways they could have gotten that information. I mean, it's unlikely that House Hades sold them information related to the assassination that they were directly involved with. So likely, they might have bought some information from House Hades about us being smugglers, and then they reached a connection based on what we could do and the time of our rise to power. After that, we sent Havelock and Dennis to sweep the city, and caught one of their agents. And after questioning him, we got the information from him. What he was sending out, more or less just the construction, our criminal contacts, list of people he was bribing. We let him go. Made sure that he got on the shuttle to get out of here, get out of the city, with the intent that we were going to keep writing notes, copying his handwriting as if he's still here. And was told that Alexei has a spy in his little abode, and he is apparently a talker. He likes to talk to people, which is why we're hopefully going to convince him to maybe not be so open with people. But a lot of that was just like that. That gets into the more like idea of what we were talking about doing. But that's more or less the big stuff.
Yeah. By the way, Tech, in case you ever get confused by the timeline, there's an actual calendar in Kanka now. Like
Okay.
all the little events.
Okay.
So yeah, no. Listen. Things are going fine. The construction site, smooth sailing, and now that you've cleaned up house a bit, maybe gives you some time to focus on external matters. As you do get an invitation to dinner from funnily enough, Lord Orpheus, Lord Silax Orpheus. It's an invitation in Yorith.
This just seemed like sort of general invitations being given out to a number of houses. This is like a specific one meant for us.
No, this is a specific. You are personally invited. Your house to apparently wine and dine. Something about you can actually give me either like a communicate or understand roll. Say difficulty too.
Both of us or just him?
You can both do it.
Okay.
Communicate. I think this is trying to suss out the truth of the matter. Magic negotiation deceit do not assist me here.
No. Because you are trying to read between the lines.
All right, you said difficulty 2?
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy a threat to get 3 dice.
Okay, there we go.
2 successes.
So, as you read the letter a bit closer, Daniel, yeah, it just seems like you are being invited, but while on the surface it looks like a sort of meet and greet, what rises your suspicion is the fact that it is seemingly out of the blue. No real pretense is provided other than, well, they are inviting you to a local opera show.
That is kind of strange, but like, it'd be really rude to blow these guys off.
Daniel, have you ever been to an opera? Ever?
Never in my life.
Oh, you're gonna be in fun. Is Dennis with us?
Around if you want, Doctor.
Yeah. Since I'm gonna talk to Daniel, I'm gonna look to a servant and be like, "Can you get Dennis for us, please?"
Eventually, he'll fetch the spy master as Dennis walks in the room and says, "Yes, my lord, you summoned me."
Dennis, get me all the information you can on Lord Orpheus, please.
But of course. And let's see. Let's get my this.
Also, Daniel, I'll be honest, you're gonna hate it.
Most likely.
What's
It's going to
the
be
hate?
frivolous.
It's not frivolous.
Frivolous.
Just
Waste of time.
Oh.
I could be doing business.
I see what the problem is.
think about it this way: a way to make contacts. That way to
That's
look
good.
cultured.
Well, Dennis will turn. Maybe a day or so later. I mean, how in depth do you want this investigation to go, or just like some basic?
Scott just wants to know information about him.
Then presumably, if you don't want to wait too long, he'll return a couple hours later. Then, my lords, provide some information about Lord Orpheus, the current house ruler of House Orpheus. He is a man of few talents, I suppose. Great swordsman, drunk womanizer, has a reputation of being rather rude, and is bickering. The current prince of the planet is well known. He has just married recently to Lady Asia Ruvinum. And what was as expected wedding. I don't think there was anything to write home about.
Dennis, what can you tell me is the argument between him and the prince?
I believe it's as they say it, as the dock workers used to say it in my hometown, a dick measuring contest.
to be so shrewd, do you think this is just him trying to pull an intimidation? In your opinion, is this him just pulling an intimidation tactic, or do you think he's trying to look for allies?
I will be upfront. He is too stupid to do anything. It most likely is merely a front. Something else. He lacks the political acumen to even pull off an intimidation. At most, a minor annoyance.
What about his wife?
Good.
His wife is a rather large unknown on the planetary political stage. But her mother has a rather shrewd reputation.
Well, we did recently intercede to Vodnik. They said to speak with Ravenum on a business matter arrangement. Could be a way to get us into talk without Ravenum formally inviting us over or showing any overt interest.
I think we should go, as always, without security. Havelock being there would only cause problems.
Well, we are not going to bring a... Yes, we are not. Bringing a face down around the Lord Orpheus, I think, would be a bad thing.
Yeah. All right. Send a I guess we'll send a reply. Thanking him for the invitation, and we will promptly come.
Yeah, you'll nod as you'll send a reply. Damn.
What?
I agree completely.
Yeah, I support that decision.
What does anybody? I think it's a good idea, Daniel.
I can hear you. I can hear the TV. I can hear the TV.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you get ready and well, a day later, not a day later, a week later, right? You'll take the well. Presumably, you don't want to spend too much money on this.
No.
Underestimate us.
So then, yeah, you'll just take the public transit. Cheapest and easiest way to move about. As present yourselves to the event, you've been invited. As you arrive, there's like 4 guards ready to escort you and escort you directly to the opera house itself. As the car kind of drives the streets. You've been through Yoreth a couple of times, especially since it's a rather central hub for the planetary transit system, connecting the east with the west. Every time you go through here, the city still impresses you with its elegant design and clever use of mirrors and, well, lights. But you've never been to the opera house. In this place, it's quite a sight. It is an extremely large building. It's one of the defining features of the city. It's an opera house that can house easily 50,000 people. Its size is immense, and well, it facilitates all sorts of expensive, not just operas, but theater shows, stage performances, whatever your imagination can muster. Comes equipped with so many aids, provide the grand scale of some of these epic theater displays that are put on here. And well, it usually hosts for rather important people, at the very least. It's mostly nobles and tourists that attend. This place is not really something that your average person can really afford. And it's often used for extraplanetary guests. For example, if there's another great house or major house from another planet, if they wish to see an impressive show, they will usually come here. And well, it has a very impressive reputation that has been built over the years. The city itself, half on land, half on the lake. Its well, its true beauty is only evident at night when the bioluminescent algae that live in the lake just make this entire place pop with a green, with their green bioluminescent glow. Of course, the show itself is set rather in the evening, so you do get to enjoy the beginning of the city's light shows, as at about like 8 p.m. you can start to see the lights much more clearer as the sun goes down. And well, for you the show starts at 9. So you'll be escorted, walk through, no questions asked really, as you are brought onto like the middle floor, overseeing this large stage play. And well, it's truly is impressive. You could just to imagine, this is basically, since they this is you could shoot up, like you can like stage real life battles with like how much space there is. Everything here is just being built to a scale to amaze and impress. Probably too much maybe for your taste, but at the very least it's a marvel of engineering. And as you are being seated in your spots, there's servants that go around with trays with food, drinks. Presumably you would accept whatever is being offered.
Yeah, Daniel would.
And as people are getting into their seats, how are you two taking this? How talking to each other? Are you saying anything? Are you? What's the thought process right now?
Scott's looking around, watching the play, but he's always being watchful and is always a little bit on edge. But he's trying to make it seem like he's not keeping an eye out.
There's a part of Daniel that is impressed by this, the grandeur. Clearly a lot of wealth was put into this. Then Daniel immediately ends up thinking, how many deals could have been processed with money like this? Just seems Daniel doesn't see the point in stuff like this, and he will kind of whisper a few things to Scott to the effect of How many factories do you think they could have built with the money it cost to make this place?
The culture is to make the people happy. It's to show their wealth. I agree. It's a little bit much for my taste, but when you have this much money, why not show it off?
Suppose you're right.
Yeah, as the stage show begins, as the singers take center stage, there's dancing around them. There's people kind of trying to sort of animate almost the story that these people are telling. Song. You can see an entire like cruise worth of stage effects being deployed manually, and oh, it's very impressive looking choreography. You realize that the booth you are in, well, there's like two of you, and like more people in a corner, and the booth can hold about 10 people. And about 15 minutes into the show, the other two people just get up and leave as well, leaving you all alone in it.
Daniel knows Scott well enough that when Scott's like, do I sense any danger here, or is this just no?
I mean, there are guards patrolling the hallways, and you are all disarmed and like for weapons at the.
Mm-hmm. Seems like we're about to have a private audience.
Likely.
As you take up too long, as a woman walk at your booth. Both recognize Cassia Orpheus, the daughter of Lady Ruvinum. As she smiles politely at the two of you, as she'll sit next to you, Daniel.
Lady Orpheus, a pleasure.
Pleasure indeed is mine. My lord? Enjoying the show?
Well, my first time to the opera. I enjoyed it well enough.
Oh. Glad to hear that. Young Lord Vodnik is also enjoying the show. It would be around here somewhere. I thought we might discuss things before the formalities of dinner arrive.
Daniel gives a gesture like, go on.
Tell me, what's your plan with Lord Vodnik?
My plan with the young Lord Vodnik, really, it's quite simple. My plan is I want him to be a... How should I put this? With any deal I make with Ravinum, and by extension him, I'd like him to be a more equal partner. I don't like working with people who are incompetent, and I'd like Vodnik to grow into his role before anything's really committed to.
I understand. Tell me, my lord, how accustomed are you to house politics? I've learned that you have been recently anointed.
It's been a learning experience as we go. I understand that that's the reason why I approached Vodnik, that he approached the subject with Ravinum about arrangements. Would have been rude, misinterpretable, would have been unsightly at the very least for me to interject directly with another house's subject.
Yes, that still stands. My mother is, well, less considerate than I am. Definitely less open-minded. I think she would not appreciate too much the thought of. She kind of like does a little kind of like sarcastic eye rolling. Us noble folk mingling, mingling with well, the lower classes. She can be a very proud woman. So, Lord Vodnik posing any sorts of deals involve you. And, well, considering I know the boy and he can be quite easily pressured into revealing maybe a bit too much information, they've landed you in quite a lot of trouble, my lord. I don't think you want to make an enemy out of my mother.
Indeed, I don't.
Which is why I ensured that Vatni can enjoy an opera show and leave the business to the grown-ups. I shall very politely smile.
Yes. I think that'd be a good thing.
So my understanding is that you wish to use the Vodnik's harvesters, sell them off-planet.
Yes. And the harvesters are specialized for Azar. I believe made into more general units. I think that there could be quite the market for them elsewhere.
And you have the means to tap those markets. You're to have units to sell.
I do have the means, yes.
And maybe we stand both to profit from such a deal. I will ensure that Lord Vodnik will listen to his advisors and, well, speed up production and get the quotas up to the point where they can satisfy Ruvinum's needs and, well, still have some extra that you can sell. We'll each split the profit accordingly.
Daniel nods at that.
Like you seem to have a good business sense. I feel like if you were much more discreet about your movements, I think we can have a very long and fruitful partnership. There's many more doors I can open than any botnik boy.
Yes, I was a trader before I was a noble. And having to get used to some of the different rules, but I do think we can have a hugely productive relation.
Wonderful. I've done a bit of research. Malenkov Corporation. You brought them to our lovely planet?
That I did. Convince them of the value of establishing themselves.
Wonderful. Think you'll be a very good positive influence. I do have one concern. That is your association with House Cryptus. They're not the most well, business oriented people I've had the pleasure of dealing.
See, Daniel pauses for a moment and, well, what I can say is House Cryptus has been straightforward and honest in their dealings with me, and being proper to speak any ill of the house that generously granted me patronage.
Of course, of course. But, well, about speaking ill, if you ever find yourselves interested in affairs of simpler trades, maybe you're tired of dealing with gene splicing and whatever other miracle cures they're making in their labs, my door is always open.
Keep the offer in mind. Who knows? The winds of fortune change all the time. You never know which port you'll end up in.
Well, I believe one makes their fortune rather than relying on winds. I think you can agree to that one.
I agree in part. One works with what fate gives them and turns it into something beyond that.
At least I think you have what it takes. Move beyond things you've been given. You clearly have already partially. And even without my help, I think you would manage to go very far. But, well, why be rivals when we can be partners? Something to keep in mind.
Daniel gives a smile. My experience, granted, this was with rather traders and company men rather than nobles, but I find that the fruits of genuine, beneficial partnership is better than the scraps that can be picked from a fight.
Miles nods. Enjoy the show, my lords. I'll see you later at dinner.
Thank you.
Scott bows.
Yeah. She'll stand up and leave you alone in the booth.
She leaves, going to just, while still looking at the opera, say to Scott, "Oh, she's certainly been trained for the role she's in."
Very. Daniel's known Scott practically his whole life. You could tell that Scott is not happy with that individual. Any person who will sell out loyalty, was wanting you to sell out loyalty, is not loyal in return.
Oh, trust me, I know. Who do you think told you that?
I know.
But he is right. There's more to be gained from being friends with them than being enemies, and after all, we owe House Cryptus a great debt. That debt will be paid, and after that debt is paid, oh, many things could happen.
Yeah.
But, I'm not sure what to do with the Vodnik boy now. Sir conceded the need for him.
I'll worry about it when the time
Good.
comes.
You can keep your friendship up with him if you desire, but, I don't think there would be much more that I'll have with him.
That's fine. As long as my friendship doesn't affect our partnership, I will proceed as I see fit, with your blessing.
You have it. Not disappointed in me yet. Impressed me a bit, so I'll trust your instinct.
When we're done with this, there is something I would like to talk to you about. It makes me kind of concerned, but it can wait. It's nothing that's immediately troublesome.
Better to speak of it than somewhere more secure.
Yeah.
Perhaps opera's an acquired taste.
I'll be honest. You've trained me for proper etiquette and culture, and all I hear is screaming noise. Give me the hum of a ship any day.
Yeah, and once the show finishes, about an hour and a half, later, you'll be escorted by the guards onto a very nice scenic terrace on top of the upper, just kind of like overlooking the city, and you can see very far in the distance the entirety of the lake, just kind of like glowing with this amber light. As there's a table that has been set up. You see Cassia, you see Lord Orpheus, you see Vodnik as well, and well, there's some food set up and some drinks. There's like guards all around you. As Silax kind of stands up, bows politely, and says, "Welcome, my lords. Please
Thank
have
you
a
for
seat."
having us.
Yes, of course, of course.
The honor is ours, Lord Orpheus.
Yes, of course, of course. Silax sits down, and both.
Anybody else we know here?
No,
Oh,
I
shit.
recognize that guard. I recognize that guard there.
Yeah,
His name's
I reckon
Jay.
just you and the
Huh.
Vodnik boy.
out, out of character, huh? You know, is that poison super new? Did you just get him? What happened to the last one?
um, well, you can
Bro,
both give me an understand roll if you want, like difficulty 2 1.
is this a body language thing or?
Yeah, does apply.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, you realize Silax acts more like a trained dog than a person right now. Just after everything he does, he looks towards his wife for like some sort of confirmation or information. Just almost like he's literally like doing a not that well practiced routine.
Oh, yeah. So Scott's instincts have now shifted from disregarding him and only focusing on her.
And he's also, there's a certain amount of, you're not really sure if it's just fear or kind of like caution directed towards her, while she's just smiling
Damn,
and chatting with Vodnik, making
Fred's
small
not
talk.
wrong. He is in the wife hole.
Yes, and he's very like natural about this. As listen, Alexei, he's Alexei. He's always hyped. He's always cheerful.
Idiot.
He sees you. He like starts chatting with you, Scott, with Daniels. How you've been? Did you see the show? The lights, the crew was so amazing. Did you see the way they moved? Must take so many years of proper practice, and the stage effects. I've never seen such a light show, and the way the light kind of like bounced around, like basically, and she kind of like seems to be like goading him on, just like kind of like letting him talk mostly as she listens, smiles.
Scott is. How do I put it? Scott's listening. Like, externally, he's listening and nodding, like, yes, agreeing, but it's clear that his focus is, like, on her. Like, to Alexi, who's excited to talk to him, but he's looking past him to her because he knows that she is the one pulling the strings.
I mean, she'll kind of glance in your direction, smile, and says, "Is there something the matter, my lord?"
No, not at all. Uh, just enjoying the pleasant sights and company.
Kind of like smiles and says, "Don't make my husband jealous now." As
I wouldn't
Alex
dream
kind of
of it.
like, you see him like half choke with the wine as he was like swallowing right now.
I wouldn't dream of it, my dear.
Yeah, well, That comment didn't slide particularly well, but Silex is just kind of like keeping it in. Just can tell the humiliation on his face right now. If there's any conversations you'd like to broach at this dinner with any of them.
I will probably talk with Alexei while Daniel does the most of the leader conversation.
Anything in particular you want to talk to Alexei?
In subtle ways, just to tone it down a little bit, like giving him the like as a friend,
Yeah.
like the tone changes, and as a friend, he's like, tone it down a little bit. You can't be talking about us in such high regard. Like, we appreciate it, but you're doing fine. Word of advice: whatever's said can't be unsaid. Listen, talk, respond. You're playing a chess game verbally. You got it. You're smart. I have faith in you.
Nods, says yes. Right, but
Hey, Lexi, you're smart. You got this. I have 100% faith that you will change your city for the better.
we are at the table, so shushing this too much out will kind of
No. It's just kind of like, it's clear that he's saying, relax, calm down. You got this.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Every time you do that, he'll like calm down, he'll nod, and then he will be like super excited about something and just ask him a couple of questions, and there he goes again.
Awesome.
Seeing that Cassius doing that, Daniel is going to try to wrangle some of the conversation, and like speaking specifically, like when she mentions something, he'll turn and he'll mention it, like assuming like it's about the opera house. He'll just talk to Lord Orpheus about the opera house that bears his family name, asking it's certainly an impressive building, Lord Orpheus. Is there?
Yes, big, tall. Just like an awkward silence. Then
certainly impressive. Like Daniel actually doesn't know how to respond to that. Like that catches him a bit.
Yeah, no, it's just it's. Listen, Dennis told you he has no political acumen. And like
that's worse than just no political acumen. It's like, hey, the crowning achievement of your house? You want to talk about it? It's big. Wall.
Now,
Getting
maybe you understand why they had his brother assassinated.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Getting that response from him, Daniel is going to shift. Lady Orpheus. What do you think? What do you think of the opera house? Invariably, it is my first time going to the opera. And of course, for the first time going to an opera, to go to such a extravagant and clearly impressive building.
I would say it's one of our crowning achievements. It's quite famous throughout the sector, and dare I say the galaxy. It's very few places that manage to capture the beauty and the magnificence of human ingenuity, where both engineer and artist can work side by side and just create awe-inspiring work. I've always had this opinion that everyone thinks about, the main actor, the lead talent. People tend to forget about the little guys, the crews that work tirelessly to have the special effects done properly, the engineers that work night and day to make sure that the placement of every mirror is correct, that the light bounces at the appropriate time and with the appropriate speed and doesn't lose any of its intensity. All of these people, my hope is that with my guidance here now, we can bring a bit forth. And she says that, Daniel, and you realize that on the like pamphlets for like the show, there is a dedicated section listing every person working in like for like departments and teams. It's like a lot of people, but they're like listed.
It is true. Too often, society likes simple stories. Great men and women push the world solely through their own force of will. They remember the captain of the ship. They don't often speak of the pilot, the engineer, of those running maintenance, the chefs, or just the simple cleaners, without which, if any one of them failed to do their job, the ship would run adrift, fail to accomplish anything. Without.
Not quite so. And I do believe that they deserve recognition, just as everyone else.
They do. They do. I captained my ships. I was a traitor. I knew the names of my crew. I made sure that they received their dues. I made sure their families received more than their dues if tragedy struck.
Very admirable.
It's easy to forget that one's success is very often built and established by guiding the labor of dozens, hundreds, thousands, and more of people who history will not remember. It's a good thing to make sure that, at least in the short term, they're known and they know what they're doing and they know why it's a good thing, and that they bask in the successes of it just as much as the director.
She nods, very like seriously and solemnly. And like Alexi will interject. Yeah, I told you he is a wise man. Can't even imagine that the places he must have seen across the universe.
Oh, I can assure you, well, what's left out of most people's recollections of space travel is that most planets aren't that interesting. There are many that are. Some of them have interesting life on them. Some of them have interesting cultures. Some of them have sights, wonders of art and engineering. It's those ones that you remember. Sometimes they strike you. See a plant that reminds you of one you saw a decade ago on a planet light years away. See a person reminds you of a man you served with, who retired. Haven't seen him 30, 40 years. Memories are always there. Mostly good.
Both kind of like nod at that. exception of Silax, who seems like he's zoning out.
That Daniel was actually going to mention. Oh, of course, most planets are peaceful to more or lesser extent. Some aren't. There are some planets that are very violent, dangerous to do any business with, dangerous to visit. And Daniel will kind of relay a story of getting a grasp of what this Lord Skylax is interested in. He'll tell a bit about some of the more violent places he's been in where there was more fighting.
Yeah. Some local conflicts. Yeah, I know that definitely catches more his attention. You start realizing he's paying attention to now.
Yes, it's always an interesting thing. See what people fight over. Being a impartial, neutral observer from the stars, I've seen people fight over resources that just a few star systems over were plentiful. People would have considered that world a Garden of Eden of sort. And I've seen people fight over conflicts so esoteric that I doubt a Menpat could wrap their head around why these people are even fighting.
Well, I think that's a sad truth about our world is that well, people fight for many different reasons, and my humble opinion, a lot of them are quite silly. From bruised egos to greedy short-sightedness. I've rarely seen a battle which merited carrying it out. There usually are better alternatives, cheaper, faster, more efficient. War is not very profitable for anyone, unless you are the person making the things that are being used in the war.
See, Daniel kind of leans back a bit. Oh, the extremities of force. Oh, I don't judge people when they come to fight. It's easy as the outside observer to come to a planet and tell them that their conflicts, their bouts are meaningless, pointless. So why should they care that this lake was taken or this territory was stolen or this ancestor was killed some time ago? In the end, you'll find that, at least I find that people can always find their justifications, and trying to convince somebody that their reason for picking up their arms is wrong is not only often a pointless endeavor, I find that often it entrenches them. They become more resolute in what they want to do. Can't tell if it's a response, a spite response. Perhaps they just dislike this outsider telling them how their affairs should be. Or perhaps you did crack them, and in response to something they considered perhaps a core idea about themselves being shaken, they need to double down on on what they stand for. Or they put down the weapons. What was it for? The men they killed, the brothers they lost. In the end, I stay impartial in such matters. They want my goods. They did not ask for my input in their philosophical concerns.
She nods. And she kind of glances towards Alexia and says, "Indeed, you were right. Lord Helios is quite wise. We'll do well to learn from that, my lord. As I will, as will I." As she like looks at you, smiles as well.
Yes.
Silac is the
Daniel,
oldest. Silac
not
is like
that.
fucking like it's the eighth glass. He's like just chugging them down. Like, you had me there, then now you lost me again.
Yes, admittedly, I'm not a good man to talk on military matters. I will not feign a deeper understanding of them beyond my understanding of people. But
Silex kind of like slams almost the glass on the table, just a bit too loud. It says, "People that war is simple. Just have to be better than your opponent." As you just see Cassia's face kind of like start frowning and going dark as she like glares at him. And he like
Scat feels slightly offended.
yeah, he kind of like looks at
eh,
her, looks at you too. It's like, ah, my apologies, I've spoken out of turn.
oh no, don't apologize. You are right. I know fashion war is a simple thing. You pick up a heavy object, bludgeon the man in front of you. At least that's how our ancestors did it. Then they used guns, eventually lasers, then we had got shields, and we went back to swords and blunt objects. The act of war is a simple thing. Even logistics are not that complicated in the grand scheme of things. Men need food or they die. Men need good water or they shit themselves to death. Men need good medicine or they get infected and you have to cut off their limbs. The why of war is the complicated part.
Woe is the politician who goes to war without the reason of war. It's easy for men in their chairs to declare such things. It's harder for them to take action or justification.
And kind of like Sonic says, I need no justification to show someone I'm better than them. They're willing to challenge that, they should be ready to back it up. Yeah, no, greed. And are cowards. They'll order others to die for themselves when they're too afraid to pick up the blade themselves.
Scott looks at Alexei.
Alex is kind of like
Daniel,
quiet at this point. Just,
Daniel will
Silax
speak
is
up with that.
clearly like tipsy.
Yeah, Daniel will speak up with that. That I agree with. I never asked. When I was a captain, when I was a trader, I never asked my men to do anything I wouldn't do. If I told them, gave them an order that we were going through a dangerous route, that I knew the chance of injury, loss, death was higher, I went with them. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most. And when you get down to it, the only real valuable trait in a leader. Are they willing to suffer the fate of their men? Are they willing to be in the trenches with them? Are they willing to be in that cramped, cold iron box with them hurtling through the stars? Or are they sitting in velvet cushions, pushing them like they are nothing?
Silax kind of like says another cup and says, I'll drink to that, as like downs the entire thing. As Cassius leans in and says, Spund, I think you've had enough. She like snaps her fingers and all like the guard says, "Could you please see that Lord Orpheus here gets to his quarters. He's clearly tired and must rest." As the guard just nods and Salak looks at her, about to protest, stops himself, gets up, says, "Good night, my lords," as like bows and starts walking away.
I hope we didn't cause any trouble.
No, he is unfortunately these sort of discussions do tend to, well, not interest him too much, and well, some people find other occupations. Apparently wine drinking seems to have caught his most recent fancy.
Ah,
I do
I take
apologize if he offended you somehow.
oh, take no offense. Oh, I understand that given his recent tragedy that befell him, oh, some men get over the tragedy faster than others, but laxity can be extended given the circumstances.
She looks kind of like sorrowful and nods and says, "It was quite the ordeal. I do believe sometimes he hates me. Wasn't really his choice. He really had to step in for his brother, and well, he never really asked for any of this. I think I have robbed him of his carefree lifestyle that he used to have before."
As I said, Lady Orpheus, we make do and we craft the future out of what fate gives us, and fate has given him quite the bad hand, as it were. There is laxity to be accepted, isn't it? But you will have to build the future out of the tragedy fate has given him.
Nods.
Nope.
Just Alexi kind of like steps and says, "Oh, my lady, if it counts for anything, I believe that you're too lovely of a person for him to hate, and I think you are um, you're being too harsh on yourself. Lord Orpheus is probably just, well, I hear he's not the best at communication. So it may just be an issue related to that." Like looked at you, Daniel and Scott, for like approval for the.
I'm gonna fucking understand roll that and what her reaction is.
Be my guest.
Daniel is internally going, "What the fuck are you saying?
What words are coming out of your mouth, and
Do you
why are
hear
you
yourself?
bringing this in? Oh,
Oh my god. Oh
I don't know
my.
how. I don't.
Oh.
I this can't go that bad. This can't go this bad because it's just me figuring out what the fuck he's talking about. What her reaction is.
Scott, you think they're having an affair?
Oh, I think they have an affair.
Must be it. He's in love with
Must
her.
be it.
As
Uh
Scott
huh.
is
Wait. Do I
connecting
think it's an
dots.
affair, or do you think it's one sided?
You think they're having an affair, and at the very least, he is smitten with her. She might be reciprocating. She might just be using him as like the flavor of the month, but something's going on between them.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep that fucking a secret.
Yeah, Daniel will cough it at that. Alexei, while say that I think in broad strokes that might be the case. I believe, well, the Lord has gone through quite a tragedy. I'd imagine he was close with his brother. And if he was not his brother's guard, I'd imagine he blames himself for what befell him, and I think that perhaps such an unkind interpretation is a little too harsh.
Of course, I just wanted to make sure that her ladyship here doesn't think that she is at fault for his behavior.
He's definitely smitten.
Like, quite alright. I do understand what you are on about, my lord. I thank you for your faith in me, and I'm sure everything you said was meant in good faith. As Alexei seems like now he's kind of embarrassed and starts hugging the wine glass.
This guy's a fucking moron.
Scott, they're definitely fucking.
How could I? Daniel's thinking, how could I ever have thought I could make this guy a fucking competent associate?
Yep, they're definitely fucking. But he's not going to talk about it. Listen, different structure, different folks. Does this knowledge possibly benefit me at this moment? Nah. It's only going to get Alexei killed if Lord whatever finds out.
He is one of the two swordsmen of Ginaz on the planet, so yeah, no, it's high likelihood.
Does even if I said this and blackmailed, does it do me any good? No.
Although, listen, Alexei rolled 6 successes, so fuck do I know?
Fucking, what are you talking about? How does he have such good rolls?
Listen, you fought him. You've seen that he's capable of great feats, but yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not. He is a novice sort of Gina, whatever, and that dude is a master. He'll fucking die.
Yeah,
Scott's not even that optimistic. He'll fucking die.
Probably, most likely. But yeah, no. Not sure if there's any other conversations you would like to have as the dinner will kind of wind down slowly.
Yeah, Daniel is just couching the conversation in the direction of just polite small talk. At this point, Daniel is in full on manager of the conversation mode. Just let's move on from that.
Let's get Alexei drunk and then just have him not talk.
I don't think that's how it works with drunk people.
Pass out. I don't know, it depends on the drunk. People just stew.
Yeah, but before you pass out, you tend to talk a lot.
Before you pass
I don't know.
out.
Unless you literally insert so much alcohol into him, he's gonna immediately die.
I don't know. Some people just stew. Like, he's already embarrassed. But whatever.
I don't think he's a stewing type. I think he's gonna be a confident drunk.
Exactly. That's exactly what he's gonna be.
Like, he gets more drunk, and Scott's like, he's gonna admit his feelings any second now.
As you manage the conversation, and you've been talking with Kasia, just small talk, maybe talking a bit more about the city's history. Scott, you've been eyeing Alexei as he keeps drinking glass after glass. He did kind of just trying to hold in. Scott, you think he's about to start singing?
Alexei, no.
God.
He's about to do something stupid. You're not too sure if he's about to pose, make a declaration of love.
He's gonna if is Alexei sitting next to him?
Yeah, you're kind of he's not sitting next to you. You're at the corner, right? So.
Oh shit! I'd be like, hey Alexei.
Yes.
Like, as they're talking. What do you think you're about to do, bud?
What, me?
What?
Nothing. What?
Well, you look like you were about to start doing something. Are you okay?
Yes. Are you okay?
I'm fine. How many drinks has he had? How many drinks are right by him?
I mean, it was just the servants just refill the glass constantly. It's
Oh,
always full.
how how many times have I counted?
Must be like at least I don't know, like 7 glasses.
How strong is this wine?
Pretty strong. It's very sweet,
Alex,
so you don't really notice the alcohol just
Alexei,
getting to you.
Alexei, you've had 7 drinks in a very short amount of time. I think you should go to bed.
Oh no, I'm fine. I can, yeah, hang around.
Okay. All right. Just remember that I said that. Is he about? Does he still look like he's about to belt some tunes?
He's keeping it inside. You don't know what, but he's keeping it inside.
Fan's gonna explode.
I like you're Daniel. You're just gonna like you haven't seen this kind of like vibe off of Scott since we were like smugglers, and like when he would tell his men, like one of his guys, like, "Don't fucking fight that dude. You're gonna get your ass kicked," and they're like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna do it." Like that's the kind of vibe. Like Scott's just like backing off and just like about to let some chaos happen.
I'll say this as you um well, eventually again the dinner has more or less kind of come to a close as you all gonna get up and I'm not sure how much you two have had to drink. Up to you.
Maybe one glass. Scott
Okay,
doesn't drink.
so you're like keeping it very straight
Yeah.
and narrow.
Daniel,
Katya has had a couple of glasses, but she seems fine. There's no real change in her mood other than she was always charming and like smiling, laughing, very friendly. And well, as the four of you are walking towards the shuttle path that's on top of the opera house, that's I have there's like 3 shuttles ready to like take you to your hotels. There's a moment where like Cassia seems to like stumble. You see Alexi fucking dive in, ready like on one knee to catch her, just like the most over the top and bombastic gesture possible.
Oh yeah, no, they're fucking.
Daniel's just staring.
Like she doesn't actually, she just literally just stumbles for like a step. It doesn't actually like fall down, and he just is left there standing like midair trying to catch something that's never coming. As she smiles very
Giving this
awkwardly.
man the floor I stare.
She just kind of like smiles awkwardly and says, "Thank you, my lord, but I think I'll be just fine." She like looks towards the two of you.
Yes, I believe dinner was quite enjoyable, and I think that it is time for us, though, as he does look to Alexi. I think it's time for all of us to go home, and certainly it'll be a night to remember, but business will come sooner than I think any of us would like.
Yes, of course, of course. As she says, mind, please do me a favor and make sure Lord Vatnik here gets to his quarters intact.
He'll look to Daniel. I'll make sure he gets home with your permission, my lord.
Yes, make sure that he gets home, and make sure that.
I was gonna say both of you are housed in the same hotel, so it's just like you escorting him to his
Oh,
room.
sorry. You said the 3 shuttles, so I just kind of assumed it was different.
Well, more like normally you would fly with different shuttles because you're kind of like nobles and it's like keeping up posture, but not for Alexi though. The posture has left the room.
Your wish is my command, my lady. I will make sure he gets home safe.
Thank you, my lord. As you see, God just kind of like helping up Alexi and like start like hurrying towards one of the shuttles.
Brushes him off. Has hand on his back, gently but firmly pushing him towards the shuttle.
As there's like she kind of like leans to you, Daniel, and says, "As I said, must be more careful. Your associates."
I thought he just had the naivety of youth.
Does,
But,
but such naivety,
there,
such naivety leaves room for exploitation from pretty much anyone who knows what they're doing.
this is a bit more than naivety of youth, but perhaps they're yeah, it's kind of like non-committal, but he will say that perhaps what I saw in the boy is not quite fair.
Sometimes you need. I. Sometimes you need wise, and capable partners, and sometimes you just need useful tools. I'll let you decide which category here fits better. At the very least, you have proved very wonderful company tonight, my Lord Elias. Have a wonderful evening, and I hope we'll get the chance to talk in the future soon.
Likewise. Have a wonderful night.
She'll bow and take one of the shuttles as it lifts off. As like eventually walk up to your own shuttle, where like Scott puts Alexi in one of the chairs, as he's like, "No, I'm fine, Scott. I am fine. I just I embarrassed myself, didn't
you
I?
look. Yes, yeah, you did.
Uh,
Friends don't lie to each other. Yeah, you did.
I
If
thought
I
she was
had
gonna
any thought that
fall.
if I had any thought that they were fucking, I'm like, you fucking blew it.
I thought she was gonna fall. I've read it in a book that says that a man should
Uh,
take off his jacket and like put it over the puddle when the lady. I
The world is not a storybook, Alexei.
I mean I know that, but like it's
you were trying to be valiant, but also,
yes.
hey, Alexi, buddy, pal, friend. For other women, maybe, but that is a married woman with one of the best swordsmen on the planet.
Oh,
You,
what?
who is what?
What does that have
I'm
to do with?
He is a very jealous individual. I made a comment, and his hair was already up.
yes,
I
the Lord
see.
Skylax is an aggressive man who will jump to conclusions, yes.
No, that's not true. I've talked with him. He's friendly.
Alexei,
Yes.
I am going to... when I have outings with my nephew, my heir, I often give him critique. People are always learning. Learning never stops.
Yes.
And during that dinner, you did not seem to notice that these things were happening. Lady Orpheus was continuously goading you during that entire dinner. Given that
He was just
increasing...
being friendly.
She is a very friendly woman. She's also the wife of a noble lord. She is the daughter of the head of a noble house.
I think she's also the heir of that said house too.
Probably not anymore. She's
Yeah.
married. Now, the thing is, she wanted specific reactions out of you, Alexei. I'm not sure why she wanted them. Perhaps she wanted something to offset Lord Orpheus's agitation. Perhaps she was hoping he would get more agitated. Or perhaps she was hoping you would. Perhaps she thought that you might say something that she could use. She can be friendly. Somebody can be friendly and be looking for an angle at the same time. Do not mistake someone.
What angle could you work with me? I'm like literally nobody.
Thing you have to understand, you are not nothing. You are the lord of a house.
A house
You're
that
part. You're,
everyone hates and nobody respects.
but not us. And
Even
also, we know you're talking to people. We know it.
talk to anyone.
We try to spy on House Nix, who knows that there is a House Nix spy in your house that you are apparently talking to without realizing it.
No, I haven't talked to anyone.
You don't need to directly talk to somebody for somebody to still hear. And let's move on to criticism 2, Alexei.
Yes.
You and Lords Silax were drinking heavily. You'll note myself, Scott, barely drank, and the lady, she only drank to an extent. Intoxication like that leads to rash decisions, lead to foolish ones, can lead to things that can easily be misconstrued. What if when you were drunk you said something that the Lord's Orpheus took an insult at? What would you have done in his anger if he had challenged you?
I would have defended my honor.
Against a Guinness swordsman.
The Guinness doesn't. A true swordsman will stand by their word, no matter their opponent.
That's from the fairy tales. You're not. We're not. Your weapon is your words. Action is a tool.
Alexei, I give you this criticism because I have faith that you can grow into this role. But you have some unexamined conceptions of how this world works. And people will take advantage of them. They will take advantage of you. They will hurt you. I don't say this to be mean to you. I don't say this to push you down. I don't say this because I take any pleasure in it. I say this because I think that you could be a lord that could benefit your people, could benefit your house, could benefit your friends, and in exchange, those friends could benefit you.
Does look like you're basically chastising a child right now. He is shutting down more or less at this point. He is taking everything very, very negatively.
All right. Let me put it this way, Alexei. You want to be a swordsman, right?
Yes.
How do you get to be a swordsman?
Train. Fight.
You
kill?
fight. Yes. You wanna be the individual you want to not hear these type of talks that I've been hearing most of my life.
Yes.
He'll gesture to his sword. The sword is communication. Politics is knowing when to use it.
He like slightly nods.
Your blade, you have many tools in your arsenal. You have a house that was respected. You have power. A swordsman knows when to use it, when to dodge, when to be honorable, when to be deceitful. You have to learn all these skills, but instead of using it physically, you're going to need to learn how to use it verbally. Use all the tools in your arsenal: money, people, wealth, resources. All these are tools that are like a swordsman. All their skills you're going to need to learn how to use effectively. Train with them. Saying nothing is your best tool. The less you say, the less people can use it against you. It's like telegraphing your
Yeah,
moves.
I understand. Yeah, it's fine. I get it.
Does he actually understand, or
He is very upset, but maybe partially.
Alexei, the reason we are so direct, it took me decades to learn this. I had to train Scott for years when he was still starting when he was still a child. You do not have that time. You will need to learn on your job, and you will need to learn quick. And mistakes here. I made a mistake. I lost money in my career. Scott made a mistake. He got a scolding. If you make a mistake, House Vodnik might cease to be. That is why I do not mince my words with you. That's why I am direct with you. Speak to you in this manner. Because I know that if you do not absorb this, you do not make adjustments quickly, House Vodnik will be like a ship that's engines have gone out, light years away from any solar system. It will be adrift, and it will be absorbed. I don't want to see that happen to you.
we actually like you a lot.
You're a good man, Alexei. It's a shame that you've been thrusted into a role that does not permit mistakes, does not permit anything less than perfection. But you are not alone in it. If you not intervene so directly, Ravinum would frown upon that. But informally, I would not be opposed to. You could send messages, write letters, we could be friends, and in that I could give advice in a non-formal, in a non-official capacity. A way that does not look improper to the outside, and importantly, these messages will stay between us, as even something innocent in the hands of somebody who wishes you harm can be twisted into a weapon, an allegation, doom.
He nods at that. as the shuttle lands on top of the hotel. As you are escorted, make sure he gets to his room, as he'll one more time before he closes the door. He'll thank you and he'll say that you've given me a lot to think about. Sorry if I messed up too bad tonight.
See, Daniel will look at him. You did nothing that could not be recovered from. A mistake only becomes a problem if it is repeated. Learn from it.
And then bid you a good night as you both go to your room.
So we're in the room. I will, once the door's closed. What were you insinuating with the Vodnik boy?
Oh, well, what do you mean, my lord?
You mentioned how jealous the Lord was, and that segment of conversation that caught me quite off guard. It's known that he definitely seems to be a bellicose individual.
Oh, with the formal gesture, it seemed like those two, well, at least at first I thought there was something more going on, but it seems it's only one-sided by the boy. He seems smitten with her.
Well, perhaps he is, but that's the thing going on between them. Yeah. He used not incorrectly as a fool, which he is. But we could still, I don't think we'll ever mold him into a lord, but we could mold him into a useful fool.
Yes, my lord. I want to get out of the city and get home as soon as possible.
Yes.
This is giving me much to think about.
Yes, indeed. And I'll be paying attention to what I told to Lord of Vodnik. You're listening well. Lord Orpheus, when I die, I hope you don't fall into despair like that. And you have a wife and she dies. You'd better not fall into despair either. Even if you have a son and he dies, you will hold it together for our house.
Looks at him like he's like, and for the first time ever, you're gonna hear him say, like, his actual name is like, Daniel, do you think so little of me after losing my mother and father? After all the stuff I went through, do you think so little that I would fold under pressure?
There's actually a second. Taken aback that you refer to him as Daniel and not Daniel honorific. It's a reminder. I thought you didn't have what it took. I wouldn't have brought you in. And I'll say, Scott's pretty good at understanding people. You can tell that there's just sort of a feeling that Daniel just doesn't get, like, why Silax is really that upset. He doesn't even get why, like, anyone would be that upset of losing, like, a family member. It's like he doesn't even care.
Yeah. Daniel is Scott's very well aware that Daniel kind of, without knowing it, kind of screwed over every family member that's directly to him. He doesn't know necessarily about his brother, but he literally overtook his own father's business. Family does not, and he doesn't really communicate with I assume, anybody else but Scott. So
No,
I can
not at all.
imagine family is not. It's not something that Scott's not really that surprised. I feel like if Scott died tomorrow, Scott's pretty aware that if he died tomorrow, it'd be like, oh fuck, my heir's dead. Not, oh hey, this kid I've been hanging around with is dead. I feel bad about that.
But yeah, Daniel like kind of uncharacteristically breaks off the conversation. Actually, it's like normally there'd be more to say, but he leaves it at that.
If there's nothing else, my lord, I would like to prepare the things to leave first thing in the morning. I don't feel comfortable outside of our walls.
Yes, do that.
In the morning, rest it up a bit. Take the first train back to Heraklion. As you return, one of the first things as you set up, return to your main office, Dennis will approach you, Daniel, and says, "How was opera?"
It's most definitely an acquired taste. Oh, maybe if we go a few more times, I'll enjoy it. Dinner afterwards and conversation. That was good. We are in with Ravenum. Threaded the needle. Risk defense, but the gambit still paid off.
Wonderful. Well, I presume that that will enrich our coffers further.
It should. It'll most likely be not as good of a deal as I would have hoped. I've already risked defense to the Lady Ravenum. Won't be able to push it as hard, but we'll still take a profit. Comfortable one.
That, I guess, they'll start making preparations to up the production of harvesters and say this and give me a roll to see how well you manage to like sell them.
What kind of role would that be?
Well, it's up to Daniel.
Roll, it's
Understand,
definitely
understand,
I guess.
communicate, discipline, whichever.
no, it's definitely going to be communicate, and I'll go with duty. Daniel shying away from trouble with this one can't press too hard on this right now. So I imagine the focus of negotiation will apply.
Mhm.
What is the difficulty?
I'll say it's basically the higher you get, the more money I'll give you.
All right.
Like everything up, like above a 2, you gain 1 wealth.
By momentum or by threat. More dice, more money.
You know what? Put us over to truth, because truth has, for every deal broken, 2 more kept. And I'll use determination.
Yeah.
And I'll buy Fed to roll 3 dice.
Okay, that's
6 successes.
that's
Every single one of those was a crit, baby!
that's 4 wealth, right?
I don't know. That's up to you.
I said like everything above a 3 or above a 2. I think I said above
2.
a 2. Yeah.
I think it was like 2.
So
Yeah.
that's 4 wealth. You not only managed
Oh,
to
success, baby.
not only did you manage to find some good buyers for these, you picked the most desperate markets and managed to identify some very lucrative opportunities. Now, because the money has to be split 3 way, I'll give you
Yeah.
2 wells because you're the actual like distributors, and the other 2 will go to, well, one to Votnik and one to the
Oh,
Cassias.
excellent. That's a better split than I was expecting. I was expecting us to be saddled with with all the costs for an
Yeah.
only equal share of the profit. That's actually pretty good.
Oh,
Alright, so
you've
we have.
struck gold.
What's our wealth total now?
Give me a second.
3, I think.
I'm pretty sure it is 3.
Yeah, it's 3.
How's our construction coming along?
And it's going good. It's a rather large complex, probably gonna take at least several more months to finish.
Okay, fair enough.
Um,
Alright.
let's not. Or it's fine. Let me just drop the other shoe. Mark that.
Drop the other shoe. What? What does that mean? We've been so good.
Yeah,
Why does he have to drop any shoe?
it's a very true statement.
That's
Give me a
good.
challenge. Daniel needs a challenge.
Gonna spend all this thread. Feel free to add 1 XP, both of you.
Awesome. Awesome. I have 6 now.
As
That's winning. That's what winning looks like.
oh,
That's what getting stabbed looks like.
you remember the spy sent to the port?
Yeah, yes, I do.
The report came in just this morning. You know that, well, there was an accident at the spaceport. Spy is dead. Havelock barely escaped with his life. Looked like a construction accident. One of the pipes blew out and some crates fell on top of them.
Is the spy's body recognizable?
I mean, dental record, maybe?
Ah, well, in that case, the plan's blown open then.
Alright. Daniel?
Nix will know.
Yeah, so Daniel, I think while we still have the momentum, we should go back and just let them know that we know.
Dispatch him, yes. Help me draft a message towards Nix. I think it's time we should make use of it while we have it.
We still have the 5 turncoats, right?
Yes.
We
Yes.
didn't kill them. Should we round them up and bring them with? They know about them, and if we let them know we know entirely about their thing, it might make us look better.
We don't need to bring them in directly, but I'll inform Brick. Their usefulness is at an end.
Alright. As always, I will help draft the message, but I will leave all the decisions up to you. Do we still go with the plan of getting you alone with the lady?
We'll focus on those things, I think, next session.
Okay.
Things here
Yeah.
a bit early. Wanted to, like, throw one wrench in your plans.
It's Grunt. I was literally about to ask about the spy stuff when you did that.